Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, it's Tal Cloud in Ventura Studios today. I'm filling in for John Mallows, who is out. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking with students from Sanger Unified about what they're doing to get prepared for their futures. That may be college credits, among many other exciting things out at Sanger Unified. So stay tuned. We'll be right back live from Ventura TV.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
All right, it's Tal Cloud again, live for Ventura TV Studios. Today we've got a great show for you. But first, you can watch this live on Comcast 187, on 43.6 Me TV, KGMC 43.6, and Infinity 187, as well as replay at 2 to 3 o'clock on 13.6 and YouTube. Replay also at 8 to 9 o'clock on 13.5 and Biz TV. If you want to call in and join our conversation live from Ventura TV, it's 436 Me TV, option 11. Well, today we've got a great show planned for you. We're going to talk with students from Sanger Unified High School about what they're doing to prepare for their future. And what is that? Well, some of them are in the agriculture department and they're getting ready to move on in ag careers. And some of these ag careers may be with the FFA, where they're dealing with animal, livestock. Some are welding, some are doing a number of different things to get prepared for life after high school. Also, we have some kids that are in the PALM program. PALM is a grant recently funded for Sanger Unified, where some of these kids will be taking both high school and college credits during their 3 years in high school, or 4 years in high school, I'm sorry, and they maybe come out as college sophomores. So we got a lot to talk about. We have a number of students in the showroom today, and we're going to ask each one of them what area they're involved in and how they're planning on using this experience to move forward in their life. So we'll be right back with Tal Cloud filling in for John Mallows. Today's show is sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande with 2020 Optometrics, with over 2,000 frames in stock on Shaw and Blackstone. So you need to get your eyes checked like I do often. That's where you need to go, is Dr. Thomas Casagrande. So we'll be right back in studio with our guest, Audrey Bonomi, and the students of Sanger High School.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
This fall, there is a place, familiar and inviting, timeless and warm. Me TV, a place all your own that you can call home.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
This fall, home is where you'll find me.
You mean to tell me that's all there is to it?
That's all.
Me TV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Hi, it's Tal Cloud live from the showroom floor here at Ventura TV. And today's guest is Audrey Bonomi. Audrey, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
It's great to have you.
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to see all these bright students here excited to talk about what they're doing in high school. So we're excited to have you. You teach at Sanger Unified, and you've been there for how long now?
17 years.
17 years. And how would you say your life has changed in the last 17 years with education? There's a lot of talk about education and how things have changing in education. You hear from things from Common Core to No Child Left Behind, and now what's going on in your department, and what do you do exactly at Sanger Unified?
Well, I think when you're in education long enough, you see the changes and the pendulum swing back to career. Now it's back to career technical education as it was when I first started. But I teach in the ag department, and I'm the department chair. And depending upon, the government and how the state is operating, depends on what the schools are doing, depending on how they're getting evaluated. So right now, the State Department of Education finds value in career technical education, and they will be evaluating schools, and that would be one of the factors that they're going to do is evaluate.
So what are they doing at Sanger Unified? Tell me about the career readiness and how the state is moving toward career technical education in the high schools.
So they don't have it finalized yet as far as how the state is going to evaluate schools, but depending on the types of career technical courses that you offer, and then the pathways and how they're linked to the academic courses is going to be a part on how they're graded, I guess. So in Sanger, there's probably about 9 different pathways, including medical, public service, agriculture, which is what we're here to talk about today. And I think that the pathways are being more developed and more defined, so when students enroll at Sanger High School, they're able to find a pathway and stay with it.
Well,
hopefully
explain to our viewers what a pathway is. What do you see as a pathway?
So a pathway, the State Department of Education, you can go on their website and look at all of their career sectors and their career pathways, and they have, I believe there's about 13 different pathways, and they involve from transportation, public service, medical, fashion, food service, agriculture, and those are areas that are defined by jobs and job markets here in California. And
so you have kids that are like, if I want to be a fireman, there's a pathway for that. If I want to be in business, I can go that way. If I want to be agriculture with either plant science or livestock breeding, I've seen you have some of that. So you have kids, they can go in different pathways.
Yes, and the idea is you do it for the area that depends on the job market. So down in LA, obviously arts, media, and entertainment would be a pathway that those schools might offer in their career technical, because the jobs down there are there's a lot more of them than there are in the valley. So the idea for these high schools is to find the jobs and the careers and then develop those pathways, so then that way they can have the students, within those areas be involved in those classes, and then hopefully that's something that they want to do. And we know sometimes 14-year-olds don't know exactly what they want to do at that age, but at least they have an area of interest and then they develop them. So that's what Sanger Unified is doing right now, is really trying to develop and define those specific pathways, even though we already do have courses that meet those, but just making them all defined and more connective. And then now the district is going to have to follow those students and track those students maybe a little more than they did before.
And is this something that's only going on at Sanger Unified, or other high schools in the area?
No, other high schools do in the area, and I think some schools, down in Porterville, they've been keeping the career pathways, very defined, even through all of the years when the state maybe wasn't supporting it, career technical education, as much as they are now with the grants, the partnership grants. But most schools do have career technical, and I believe a part in educational code does require a high school, a comprehensive high school, to have some types of pathways.
Gotcha. Okay. And what are some of the career technical projects you're working on now for some of these students? Like some specific, ones you find unique. What are some of those?
In agriculture, or in
your
program?
department? Yes.
There's always a lot of them. Right now we're doing. Okay, so one of the things that we're doing is, obviously we live in a very rich farming area, but not a lot of people anymore live on farms. So we're trying to really teach students that food does not just come from the grocery store.
It doesn't? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
all the entities.
Hey, I don't know if you all know that, but maybe it does, maybe it didn't. I just learned something new.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're trying to reach students and teach them, obviously, about where it actually comes from, the production side of it and the agricultural side. So we don't want to leave that out, but we've also are developing some alternative ways to grow food, such as the hydroponics and aquaponics. And so we've done a couple of different systems, or developing them. We still have our orchard and our traditional way of growing food.
Like you're seeing here on the...
Oh, yes.
And this is part of the PALM grant, I think?
Yeah, so they did a learning garden grant, and they do them all over the nation. And so that is a place to, for students to be a part of, but then also a learning garden as well. And we do have vegetable plots and then raised beds, and we do have the orchard as well. So we're trying to.
So these what you're seeing now on the screen is something that was sponsored by Palm. They put in these hydroponic areas and growing areas.
Yeah. Well, the students developed those areas right now that you're seeing on TV. All the students made those. The other area was a learning garden, and that was more of a traditional way of farming, because they put a ton of those in, a ton meaning a couple hundred, I think, in Midwest and Chicago city schools and more of the city areas, but we're part of this Paramount program now, so they also put them in some of the ag schools as well.
Well, that's important, because I think a lot of kids, especially in inner city, or that aren't in the rural like we are, they don't understand where the food comes from.
Right.
They truly believe it's from the grocery store.
Right.
And so it's important that we do that.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what's going on with Palm. I know Palm has been a big part of Sanger Unified. And give us a little brief insight. I think we have some students we'll talk about as well, but give me an overview of what's your involvement with Palm.
Well, they're a big agricultural, company here in California.
And also big plants based outside of Sanger.
Yes, yeah, and they have a plant.
That way.
And so they made connections with the high schools local to where their plants were, and made connections and decided that, from what I understand, is that they wanted to put their money in right here in their backyard rather than donating to other types of areas. So they really wanted to invest in the future of the students in the California. So they connected with 5 high schools, and we were one of the high schools.
Well, good,
and they're
good
developing.
That's great. Well, listen, we're going to continue on with students from Sanger Unified when we come back. This show is graciously sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande at 2020 Optometrics at Shaw and Blackstone, with over 2,000 frames. So if you need glasses like I did, go and see Dr. Thomas Casagrande. We'll be right back live from Ventura TV.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
All right, it's Town Cloud. I'm live back in Ventura TV. If you want to join the program, the number is 436-ME-TV, option 11. Well, now we're lucky enough to have a Sanger student on our studio. Allison, welcome to Connect with Me with Town Cloud, filling in for John Mallows. And you work with your teachers, Audrey Bonomi, of course, and we talked about a little bit about the PALM program. And you're involved in the PALM program and the pathways that are available. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your involvement?
Paramount is a program for high school students that want to join into have college earlier than they usually do. So by the time we're seniors, we'll be able, for the plant side, we'll have 60 transferable credits, which will be technically sophomores in college. So we can transfer to any 4-year college that we want to.
Now, are those credits, are you taking college classes with your high school classes?
Yes.
On top of them, or are they taught at a college level?
But it's taught at a college level, but Sanger High School specifically chooses what college teachers they want to come to Sanger High, and we'll have those.
So you have college teachers coming from other schools that not your regular teacher. And what kind of classes would those be in?
Right now I have computer concepts, which is IS-15 for Reedley College, and then next semester I'll be taking health courses.
So they're not just all in ag or all specific area. You're getting general education credits?
It's general education for college.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And how is that? Are you involved in that at all?
Yes, so I'll be doing the agriculture classes, and the other ag teacher will also do the ag mechanics classes. So they'll do a series of plant science courses and a series of ag mechanics courses. But all the academic courses, like she was talking about, computers, health concepts, Spanish, chemistry 3A, and
there's PE and
art appreciation, history.
Oh, so
those
you're
will all
getting
be taught.
All the normal college courses that you have to, general college courses that you have to take in college, we're taking now.
Wow. And do you ever go to Reedley College or to Fresno City, or is it everything comes to you in Sanger?
It all comes to us in Sanger, although my mom works at Reedley College, so I do go to Reedley College all the time, and I hang out with all the professors.
Oh, that's kind of nice. So you get to see them at high school, and then, that's neat. That's neat. And is there what projects are you working on right now?
Specifically for Paramount right now, we're working on hydroponics projects, the hydroponic towers, the ebb and flow irrigation systems.
So explain that to me, because that's another big word, and I don't know if I understand it.
So basically, the hydroponic towers is like a way it recirculates water. Considering we are in a drought, it helps use our water like manageably. So we use like a medium, not like soil or like stuff. We just use the water and we recirculate it the whole entire time, so we don't have to use new water, and the water doesn't waste.
Interesting. Wow.
And the plants will just utilize the water that it's given. Yeah, so it prevents, waste of water. So the plants are able to use whatever oxygen or water that they need, and then it just recirculates back into the tanks.
And is this something that could be commercially feasible, or is only just for small applications?
No, it could be commercially done, although the 20 systems we're doing are all going to be separate systems, so then the students can develop their own research and learn about the nutrients and learn about the medium and learn about the water all separately, so they can all design their own experiment and use different types of crops, whether they're going to do tomatoes or strawberries inside a greenhouse or outside.
Wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. And what have you learned, Allison, so far that apply to your future? I mean, how is this, what you're learning today in high school, how do you think that's going to apply to your future? And Audrey, how do you think it's going to apply to her future in terms of what you're learning today in school?
It's going to help apply a lot, because going in like this year, like this summer, I had to take the Intro to College course. So it was eye-opening to how actual college and like life after high school is really going to happen, like how we're going to have to get a job and how we're going to have to earn money by ourselves, and learning that agriculture isn't just like it's something you do in high school or stuff. It's a job that we need to have in the valley and stuff.
And being part of this program, how do you feel like compared to your other students? I mean, are they jealous that you're in this program, or they wish they were in it too? And is this something that's been around Sanger for a long time, or is it new to Sanger?
This is currently our first year in Paramount for like our grant, and we've been trying to encourage more kids to get into Paramount, that it is a good program, that you need to get inside of it.
And what year in school are you?
I'm a freshman.
So it just starts with the freshman class this year. Very exciting. And anything I mean, obviously trying to recruit kids is a new program like this is always probably a challenge. How many kids are in the program right now?
I believe there's about 78.
And then how many do you hope to have? Is it something that certainly you want to grow the program?
I think 100.
100 is about right, the right size?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
They're going to model, I think, some of the other career technical course programs at the high school after this Paramount program, and how, whether they're all college classes or not. But the dual enrollment is a big part of California. They're able to get college credit and high school credit at the same time. And California hasn't really been a big proponent of that dual enrollment, and now that they are. So these students actually are students at Reedley and Sanger High School all at the same time.
Well, that's exciting. If you want to be a part of this program, you can give us a call at 436-ME-TV, option 11. When we come back, we're going to bring in another student from Sanger Unified, and they're going to explain what they're doing as part of this program and being an ag, showing how many great things our young people are doing. This show has been sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande at 2020 Optometrics. Need to get your eyes checked? Head on down to Shaw and Blackstone. We'll be right back.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highways.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there.
Officer Poncherello, man. Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator, the first compact electric range, Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
All right, it's Tal Cloud back on the studio live from Ventura TV with Connect With Me, filling in for John Mallows. He's off seeing to his surgery for his daughter, so John, good luck. We're hoping everything's successful. He'll be back on Thursday. Until then, you have me on MeTV. If you want to be part of the show, please give us a call at 436-MeTV, option 11. Now we have on the show someone who I think is going to talk about another segment of what's going on at Sanger Unified, Taylor Cloud. Taylor, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, very good for you to be here today. So you've seen a lot of leadership opportunities as part of FFA, and that's what you're involved in. Is FFA is part? You're not on the POM program, and you're a freshman at Sanger Unified. Give me an idea of some of the things you're doing with FFA.
The major opportunities in FFA are leadership conferences, and in addition to that, we have career development events where you develop knowledge in a career in agriculture, and then we also have leadership positions offered at the local, state, and national level.
What are some of the areas you're learning about career development opportunities you've learned about so far as being part of this program?
Well, I'm currently on the Best Informed Green Hand team, which is a written test that you take about the history of the FFA, and from that I've learned effective study skills and how to learn and memorize the information rather than just reading it and remembering it for a couple days for the test. And then I'm also a part of the Creed Speaking Contest, which is a public speaking contest where you recite the FFA Creed and then you answer questions based on the creed. And from that I've learned a lot of public speaking skills and how to effectively convey my message to the audience.
Now you've done, also through FFA, you've done a little bit radio as well. You've been doing radio. Why don't you explain what you've been doing with the radio program?
Yeah, I've been reporting for AgNet, and I've been talking about Sanger FFA and what it has to offer, what we're currently working on, and what projects are essential to our chapter.
And what are some of the subjects in AgNet you've been talking to? I mean, I think you did the fair and a few other things.
Yeah, I talked about the fair, how Sanger FFA did during the fair, and I've also talked about the hydroponics tower systems that we have been creating using the ebb and flow system, as Allison mentioned earlier. And I've done 5 broadcasts so far, and I'm hoping to do a couple more before the end of the year.
And how is that just something that was brought to you, that you get your students involved in, just not just at school but outside school? How did that all come about?
The AgNet West owner, or the part of the show that he does, they wanted to do an FFA segment, so they wanted to incorporate schools in Tulare and Merced area and then the Valley. So they had approached me and asked if we could rotate, and that's how we got involved. And she's written her 2 minutes and does a 2-minute report.
Well, that's good.
Every couple of weeks.
Well, that's good. So, what other things? Some of the knowledge. What is some of the knowledge you've gained at in being involved in this for your everyday life, or how do you see this moving forward after you get out of high school in FFA?
I've learned a lot of leadership skills from the career development events that I've been a part of, and there's many that we have to offer at Sanger High, such as meat judging, which I'm looking forward to competing in later this year, land judging, and we also have ornamental horticulture and farm business and records management. And so I hope to be able to learn more about the different careers that the agricultural area has to offer.
So in meat judging, explain that to me. What is meat judging?
Well, she hasn't done it completely yet, but
in meat judging, you identify the different parts of meat on an animal, and then which animal the carcass comes from, and then you also identify different cuts of meat, and you rank them on a scale for market.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. So I mean, that's pretty in depth. And is that something that's what you're trying to teach the kids?
Yeah. So at a deeper level, they learn different areas of the contest, and then they participate in a judging team, and they can actually be recruited to go to different colleges. So it's kind of the like a sport where you practice after school and you compete. They do the same thing with these career development events that Taylor's talking about. So there's meet judging land. I did meets when I was in high school and got to participate at all the levels. State, we won state and went to nationals. And so it's a really good experience. And a lot of colleges, when you judge in FFA, they want to recruit you because you show commitment, dedication, hard work, and they want you to judge, and sometimes they'll help give you scholarships.
Yeah, and I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what a lot of this is for for these kids to find the pathway that they want, whether it be in a field, a trade field, or possibly going to college.
Right.
So that's exciting. Taylor, is there anything else that you think that you've learned at Sanger so far in your brief career in FFA?
Well, I am just a freshman this year, but I'm hoping to stick with FFA through all 4 years, and I'm hoping it'll teach me about what career I want to go into after high school and what I should focus on. Before I entered the FFA, I thought that it was just about showing a livestock project, but now after I've entered it, I've learned a lot more about leadership and about myself and what I want to do with my life afterwards.
Because before, were you just not sure you want to do anything with agriculture, and now you think you want to go on a field of ag or a special field? Anything that interests you so far?
Yeah, I haven't always been extremely interested in the animal science department. I've never wanted to be a veterinarian, and so that's what I initially thought FFA was going to be when I entered the class. But now I realize that there's so many different pathways through agri-science and plant science available.
Well, good. We're going to take a call now. Caller, welcome to Connect with Me with Tal Cloud. How are you doing today? You have a question for our guests?
Hi, Tal. Good afternoon. Thank you for having the show today. Audrey and the young lady, both the young ladies, have very interesting perspectives on the ag industry for the youth. I had a question. I guess it's more for Audrey, the instructor. John, a while back, had a organization on a local valley organization called, I think it was called the EAT Foundation, Education and Agriculture Together Foundation. I'm wondering if she's ever participated in that program. I know they've been around for a while. I think that they focus on giving teachers in the valley and I guess abroad throughout California hands-on ag experience to take into the classroom.
All right.
So just curious about that, and I'll take my answer over the air.
Thank you. Audrey, familiar with that at all?
Yes, I've heard of the program, and I believe we were able to hire a new teacher this year, part of all of our growth, and she has been involved with the EAT Foundation, and she has made some connections with I'm not sure who, but she's definitely gotten some resources and some material, and it does look really interesting. We haven't fully implemented it yet, but we have definitely heard about
All right.
it.
Well, great.
So,
well, Taylor, good luck in your future endeavors on the radio and elsewhere. And when we come back, we're going to continue on with another student from Sanger Unified to continue this education day about ag in the classroom and what's going on in Sanger. Also, don't forget to visit our sponsors, Thomas Casagrande at 2020 Optometrics. We'll be back in just a moment.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
Ladies' Night was started in his honor. Barstools pulled themselves out for him. The only thing Chuck Norris is afraid of is her. Cheers is the most memorable bar in the world. You may not always watch comedy, but when you do, watch Cheers.
Me TV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Euronews, most watched news channel in Europe.
All right, we're back live in studio on Ventura TV with Tal Cloud filling in for John Mallos this week. Well, we've got another great student from Sanger Unified. Titus Patton is on stage today. So, Titus, welcome to Connect with Me. Great to have you here. You're a sophomore, I believe, at Sanger Unified. And tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're doing with the Sanger Pathway Program.
Okay, well, I'm a sophomore, so this is my second year in FFA. I plan to be a vet, so I'll be crossing all sorts of the different pathways. There's 7 recognized by the state of California. So there's forestry, ornamental horticulture, there's plant science, there's animal science, there's agro-science, there's agriculture mechanics, and then ag business. And so for me, I want to be a vet, so I'll be crossing ag mechanics, I'll be crossing the animal science, and I'll probably also be crossing the agro business.
So you're just trying to learn as much as you can across all the various fields right now. And I think we had some video with various, some of the different departments that you were involved in with the animal science as well. So are you doing also mechanical work as well in the shop and metal and things like that? Okay, interesting.
So,
And got some questions here for you, Titus. Tell us a little bit about what each class emphasizes and some of the projects you're working on.
Well, each class, it has its own category. So for plant science, it's all about the different plants and how they grow and what you do with them. Animal science, you're looking at bone structure, diseases that are common. You're looking on how to raise them properly, how to take care of them, different tendency each animal has to have. And then with ag mechanics, there's different courses. So you start out with what I did last year, which is Intro to Ag Mech. And what it is it's just a basic overview. So we learned wiring, we learned pipe work, we learned plumbing. There's a basic overview of welding. We did shielded metal arc welding. And then you also learn how to start applying for jobs. So we did our whole business application and an interview process and stuff like that. And so then this year I advanced to, it's like advanced welding almost.
Looks like a student here is giving that sheep some medicine.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
goat.
It's a goat. Well, goats shows you what I know. I'm a city guy, so it shows you what I know. So, and you're obviously here. They're checking the teeth, I guess.
Yeah, it's a basic full body inspection that we do on them. Make sure that everything is healthy on them. It's something we try to do every single day, if not once a week.
Well, and it seems to me like you hear everything about Common Core and all the different things in agriculture, and this doesn't look like anything bad, but yet this may not be part of Common Core, but it's something new and unique, I think, maybe going on in the high schools that a lot of people aren't aware of.
Yeah. For Common Core, for me, I have mixed feelings about it. I do feel it's maybe a little bit more rushed and not as in-depth as I had experienced before in my classes. I do take all honors classes. But one good thing about Common Core is it's forcing students to get out of the ABC mind and more into this is the process and this is the pathway I will take to get here. And I'm seeing that a lot in math, and then I can take that math and apply it back. So our math test now is all written. And so it's, okay, well, here's my formula, and then I'm going to take this formula and derive this. Well, we come back in ag, and right now I'm welding a frame for our band. And I have to know how to get angles and different degrees. Well, I can use a 45-45-90 triangle. I can use a 30-60-90 triangle, and then I can use cotangent, tangent, cosine, sine.
Wait, we got to stop right there. That's big words. I'm lost. If you're lost, who knows? But if you want to call in too, and you have a question for Titus, feel free to call in at 436-ME-TV, option 11. He seems to have a lot of knowledge of what's going on in the classroom. So if you have a question, feel free to call in. But so you're getting hands-on. I mean,
yes.
So when you're in the class, you're taking your math class, your math test now. Mm-hmm. That math test is a little bit different than what it used to be, whereas an A, B, or C, D answer is what you meant, correct? Yes. And now you're having to explain yourself?
It's not, there's no multiple choice whatsoever. You're given a problem, either word problem or just, X equals this, and then you're expected to write it out, and then your points are based off of what you do. So you get a point for the correct formula, you get a point for setting it up properly, you get a point for doing the math, and then you get a point for your answer. And so in some ways it's almost easier to pass the test, but it also helps because now I know I can go back and look at my test. Well, before with multiple choices, well, I got this answer, but I have no idea where I went wrong. Well, now my teacher can circle, okay, this is where I went wrong. Well, now I know I can go back. I have to look at that again and learn that sector.
Wow, so you are learning a lot.
Yes.
So, and as you want to be a vet, how do you think everything you're doing now is going to get you ready for both college and beyond.
Well, looking at the vet, we have to have a lot of shadowing hours that Davis, where I want to go, will require. And so this really helps. I'm raising a steer for FFA this year to show and then sell. And so raising that steer, it gives me a lot of knowledge. Okay, well, I have to take care of it every morning. And I also have to do the check on it, and I have to make sure it's healthy. I have to watch out for diseases. You know, there's ringworm. They could get a cold, just normal stuff like that. And then you also have to learn how to feed it. Well, this comes back into when I'm plan to be a vet, when I'm out there talking to different customers and things like that. Well, I'm not clueless about how their ranch is run and what they're doing. I can go out there and be like, okay, well, this is how you're raising it. Well, okay, let me look at this, and then let me look at that, and hopefully it'll be easier to figure out what is wrong with the animal.
So really a lot of real-world experience in your high school career. Is that, and that's,
oh, yes, for sure.
And
Titus, some of the students that do the livestock projects, and actually really any project, are students that you want to have work for you, because he gets up and he is at the school farm every single day. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas Day, morning and night, and not only taking care of his steer, but they also are very aware of all the other livestock and all the other animals and all the other problems that are on. You know, we've had water pipes break, we've had, you know, different things that come along, and so, you know, being 16 or 17 years old and having that kind of responsibility is big.
And you have a farm on campus where the students can get into at any time.
Yes.
Go in and look at the animals morning, noon, or night, I guess.
Right. If they have projects on the farm, yes. And so sometimes they've had to, you know, check for, you know, if they're in a, you know, giving birth, or if they're just not well, and they've had to go check on them, you know, at any time. So they've been there at all hours of the night.
Well, that's pretty good. Anything else you want to add before we have to head on down the road and get another one of your fellow students on set with us?
Well, I don't know. I think the big thing is that this is really, I think every morning when I get up, it's almost a joy to go and learn, where you talk to a lot of students and they complain about school. Taking these ag classes, it's something I enjoy. It's something I can look forward to every day, is going into that classroom and being like, okay, I'm not going to be sitting in a desk hearing someone talk. I go out there and I'm going to learn. I'm going to be hands-on, and then I can go home and apply this. And I don't think I've learned one skill that I have not used yet.
That's good, and you're learning that both in your traditional math classes and English classes and other classes, as well as on the farm. Well, great. Well, you know, I think that's what I wanted to bring today, is maybe show there's another side of what students are doing here in the Valley. A lot of times we hear some of the negative things going on with kids in high school. They're not learning, but I think this is a group of kids that are learning, and they're learning in a different way, and I think it's hopefully the wave of the future. So when we come back to Ventura TV, we'll be joining with another student to talk about how FFA's affected their life and what they're doing at the Sanger High School's Ag Center. So we'll be right back on MeTV. This is Tal Cloud filling in for John Mallows.
We get our speed from Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
All right, welcome back with Tal Cloud on Connect With Me, filling in for John Mallows. And we're going to continue talking with Sanger Unified teacher Audrey Bonomi, as well as her student this time is Sarah Simon. Sarah, great to have you on. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I've known you for a long time and excited to have you on TV here. You're a student. You live out in the farm. You've been in the country, so it'd be natural for you to be involved in ag. And now you're at Sanger Unified, and you're involved in what they call the SAEs. And I don't know what that means. I was a fraternity when I was in college. And it was a lot of, I don't know, they had a lot of fun. I wasn't part of it. I couldn't get in there. But for you, tell us about what a SAE means to you.
Well, an SAE is a supervised agricultural experience, and they basically are broken down into 4 categories, and that's exploratory, and that's where you can go and maybe shadow a veterinarian just to get background in that area of work. There's research and experimentation where you take what you learn in the ag side of things and kind of carry it over to the science department. There is placement where you go and you work for somebody to gain experience and money. And then
the money part's always good,
yes.
Right? You like that part.
Yeah. And then there is entrepreneurship, and that's where students, that's where the animals sort of come in. You raise an animal and then you take it to fair and you market it. But then it also comes into like working or owning like a florist shop or just anything that comes into.
And what programs have you done so far?
I have been showing goats for the last 2 years, and then this year I'm showing a steer and a heifer, and then marketing them at the fair.
Because steer and heifers, I think that back in the day that you got a little steer, it's not a lot of money, and you raise it and you sell it for a little bit of money. Yeah. But now I'm hearing $6,000, $8,000, that's $10,000 for a steer you could sell it for. And so how does that work? Are you buying? Do you have to buy the cow and you have to do the steer and you have to track all the money? And explain how that works.
Well, you go and you have to pick out a steer and you have to make sure it's show quality and that it's got a good temperament and just kind of have a personality that fits yours so you'll be able to show it. And then you have to monitor how much grain they eat and then how much that grain costs. And so when it finally comes time for you to sell them, you'll know, okay, am I going to break even? How much per pound do I have to get in order to make all my money that I spent on this animal back?
Well, and that's a big deal. If you want to call in and ask a question for Audrey or our guest, feel free to call. It's 436-6388, MeTV, option 11. So caller, we have a caller. Thanks for calling. How are you? Welcome to MeTV with Tal Cloud.
Morning. I apologize. I'm calling from Fowler, and we have a very good FFA right here. And both of my children, although we are not rural, we live in the town, have gone all the way to the national. They both received national. And it's a wonderful program. And I only saw parts, and I thank you very much for showing what the youth could be in our nation. It's not only gangbangs, it's realistic, honest, and very good.
And that's what we wanted to show today. Thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, I mean, if you want to catch this show once again, if you missed something, you can catch it at 43.6 MeTV and at 13.1, also Comcast 187, and it replays at 2 o'clock on 13.6 as well as YouTube, and then also at 8 p.m. on 13.5 Biz TV. So, Sarah, we were talking before the caller, and if you want to join in, please call at 436-6388, option 11. So you've done, I think you said you've done goats for the last couple of years. So did you break even? Did you make any money at the end of the year, or how did that work? Do they sell them? Are they in your refrigerator now? I mean, where are they at?
Well, there's 2 types of goats that you can show at Sanger FFA. There's the dairy goats and then the boar goats. And if you show boar goats, you can sell them for meat and make money off of it. But I wasn't big on having to give away an animal. So I went with the dairy.
You didn't want it to be in your freezer then?
No.
I got it.
So I went with the dairy side, and that's basically you raise this animal since it's a baby, and then you have to go in and you spend how many days milking it and making sure that everything's ready for fair. And then you go in and you show it, and the fair usually pays you like $20 to $30 for coming and showing it, but you don't sell it, so you don't really make any money off of it.
Gotcha. So, but when you do your steer, you're going to sell it, or you're going to keep it?
I'm going to sell them.
Oh, that's hopefully when you'll do real well. So, I mean, how does that work with you as a teacher? Are you overseeing a lot of these kids?
Yeah, and the livestock projects tend to be the more popular ones. That's what people see because the fair, and we all attend these, these local fairs. There are other students that do mechanic projects, and they do sell those and make money, and those would be entrepreneur projects like what Sarah was explaining. And then the plant science projects. We've had students that grow snapdragons and marigolds and vegetables and do farmers markets, and that's all an entrepreneur project. So we like, most popular projects are the entrepreneur projects, but obviously placement projects are as well, because these students can also earn money at the same time. So when she's sitting here talking about all the things she's worried about, again, here's a 16-year-old student thinking about things that we as adults do. So, you know, this is the start of them possibly doing their own business and developing their own, you know, finding their niche market, finding what's going to be, you know, something that is marketable, and then going through that entire process from beginning to end. And it's not handed to them. So, you know, the fair is a good outlook and a way for them to market their animal, but they still, which, you know, people come out and support that junior livestock auction, but they still have to do so much of the work. You know, I mean, all of it surrounds them, and you know, hard work builds character.
Absolutely.
And it makes them.
And it seems like we have a lot of kids here today
Yeah.
are building some character at Sanger High.
Yes.
Sarah, what you know, give me what's your goal of some of these projects, these supervised agricultural experience projects, and how have you accomplished your goal maybe in some of them already, or what are your goals moving forward with your steer maybe?
Well, a lot of them are meant to give students who don't really have the background of agriculture more experience, because you can take somebody who's lived in the country all their life and you can still learn to do it in a better way, in a more efficient way than just going out and trying
And our
it for
kids that
yourself.
live in town, since we have a school farm, they're able to keep their animals there. A lot of students that are involved in the Dairy Goat Project, you know, might live in town, and they come to school in the morning and they're there at 5 o'clock, and they spend 2 to 3 hours working in the summer, you know, milking 40 head, you know, and we.
Wow, that's
you know,
a lot.
Yeah, and then they sell it, you know, and it goes back into the program. So some of the projects students do make money from, and some of it's just experience and shadowing, and then some of it, you know, are placement and paid volunteer hours and non-volunteer or non-paid volunteer. So.
Well, that's good. If you have a question for any of our guests, it's 436-6388, 436-ME-TV, option 11. We've got plenty of time for more questions. We'd love to have you call in and be part of the program here at Ventura TV. Sarah, you live on a farm, and you've been around cows all your life. Your dad's big into cows. How do you think you're going to make money on your deal? Are you excited? Because this is going to be something not your family's doing, but something you're doing. That's going to be pretty exciting. And are you hoping to make money next fair season?
I really am hoping to make money next fair season, because my deal with my dad was he was going to help me, but I had to pay for it myself. So if I really truly wanted to show an animal, I'd have to work for it and pay it all off myself and find some way to just make sure everything worked and that I'd get money back. So I always had to kind of take what I learned just from watching him go and work with cows and apply it to my own personal project.
Well, and I think that's what's so great about the programs you're trying to do at Sanger Unified, is you're trying to get these kids to actually involved and learn firsthand and not in a book.
I was an FFA with her dad.
You were?
Yes.
Her dad's a lot older than you.
Yeah, I was a freshman, he was a senior.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I figured that. Because your dad's really old.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're live from Ventura TV, and we're going to continue on with this conversation. And when we come back, we'll have another great student talking about what they're doing. This program is all about showing there's a lot of great things going on in high school, and these kids are really moving forward, and when they have a bright future. So when we come back, please give us a call at 436-6388. This segment's sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande at 2020 Optometrics. At Shaw and Blackstone, he has over 2,000 frames for you to look at. So we'll be right back after this quick commercial.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
It's Sully and Russ on the Big Biz Show.
It's your biz.
And maybe they'll start listening to Baldwin McCullough.
Now, before you make any money moves, check in with the Brain Trust.
And you are starting your week off right.
Frigidaire. It means the first refrigerator. It means a history of innovations that help make your home life better. And now we introduce the new Frigidaire French door refrigerator with over 100 ways to organize for maximum flexibility. Built with adjustable flip-up and slide under shelving and stackable crisper drawers. It's the refrigerator that flexes to fit it all, no matter what your day will bring. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
All right, it's Tal Cloud here live from Ventura TV, filling in for John Mallos on our last segment of Connect With Me. And we're going to continue with the president of Sanger FFA. And I'll let you say your name, Cicero.
Serenio Hisasaga.
Serenio Hisasaga. Well, welcome to Ventura TV. It's great to have you
Yes.
here. And you're the president of FFA. What year are you in school?
I'm a senior right now, 12th grade.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're getting ready to graduate, and you've been in this for a while. If you're the president.
Since I was a freshman, I've been involved in this program, and it's a wonderful experience.
And what do you think some of the strongest? I mean, now that you've been through, we've had some younger students, and you're one of the oldest here. So how is this getting you ready for your next step in your career?
Well, see, FFA prepares us by giving us these qualities in which we would need for our future. So, like most of us, like for me, I don't really have. When I was a freshman, I didn't have that really good of public speaking skills. And with the FFA and my advisors, I've learned how to control my nervous and anxiety of talking in front of people and to be like part of this wonderful TV show.
Well, you're part of this TV show, and people all over the valley are seeing what you've done and your fellow students. So that's great news. I mean, so give me some of the things you've done with your. I guess you've done some SAE projects as well.
Yes. Currently, I've been working in farmers markets since I was third grader.
Third grader.
Third grader. Yes. I've enjoyed doing this work because I get to meet new people, communicate with them, learn their life experience, and know how they like fresh fruit. They like stuff that we grow and that it's not from the store, that's been in the store for like a year.
And that's what you've been doing, is selling fresh fruit from your farm? Do you have a farm?
It's not my farm. I work for some guy named Francisco Diaz. He's my boss. I've been working for him for 2 years. Before that, I was working with Hamada Farms for over like 5-8 years. Yeah.
So you've had a lot of experience, and now some of your real life experience and your education experience are growing together, I guess.
Yeah.
And the leadership of FFA has probably been outstanding.
Yes, we have wonderful advisors that are helping us go through these tough times, because not in our high school career, we're not being taught hands-on experience. They don't tell us like, oh yeah, you need to like work hard every day and make sure you get up early in the morning and learn how to manage and control an animal and take care of it like a boar goat.
Well, that's
you actually do it.
But you actually
do it.
Yeah, he can actually do it. We got a caller that sent an email question in, and let me ask you this, Audrey. Would the FFA program be as comprehensive if you didn't have the PALM grant participation that you have at Sanger Unified?
I think that enhances it because the FFA has been around since 1928, and they've always encompassed the 3 circles, which is FFA, classroom, and SAE projects, and so they overlap. So yes, the answer is yes. But the Paramount program and the Paramount Career Partnership Grant that they allowed is going to enhance all of those. Part of that grant was a student leadership proponent, and the FFA is big, as far as they're one of the career technical programs that had the strongest leadership component. You see these students everywhere in the Blue Jackets, and that's been going, since 1928. And then the SAE, with the equipment that the Paramount program is going to help us purchase, is going to really enhance the level of their education. And then the SAE part, it's just going to be, again, going to be able to offer more SAEs for students to do.
Great. Well, we got a caller. Caller, what's your question?
Yes. Let me just state that I think this is a wonderful program that the FAA has. The question I have is, how can you expand it to have more high school kids into the program that aren't related to agriculture? I know when I was in high school, I raised guppies and got an A for raising guppies and selling them as my FAA project, landscaping, other things. So it's a really, really fine program. You learn about bookkeeping, you learn about business practices, selling things.
All right,
Very,
well,
very good.
all right, thank you very much for calling in, caller. Go ahead, you both can answer. I mean, you're part of this school, but go ahead, Audrey.
Well, I think there's about 325 programs, ag programs in the state of California. We're ranked number 2, Texas being number 1. And, you know, the high schools where they have an area and a need for agriculture, which is, you know, California. So areas like Fresno, they have Duncan Polytechnic that has one. So there's multiple high schools. But I think that would be one way, you know, a lot of these new schools really trying to implement agriculture because it is the biggest industry in California. And, you know, whenever they develop new high schools, I think definitely this program would be the best way to do that. And just being a part of the local school board and talking to the local area agriculturalists would really help.
Do you have a lot of friends, maybe now that you're a senior and getting ready to graduate, that wish that they had taken the pathway you did?
Yes, there's a lot of kids that didn't realize that the FFA is not just about raising a goat or just raising a plant, you know, like growing a plant. You also build up leadership skills and a lot of qualities that you need for your future career.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, you know, I know my oldest daughter, she got into FFA really late, and I think she really wishes she would have seen the light and got involved earlier before she went away to college.
Well, and this industry definitely needs good leaders, and we have to start at the, you know, high school level. You know, and all industries need good leaders, but, you know, the FFA has that leadership connection, and that really encourages kids to. And if you've ever been to the state leadership conference, the Blue Jackets all around downtown Fresno, you know, these kids are making a connection to something, and I think that that's really important. You know, they find a home, and there's a lot of good, and a lot of these students are involved in other things. They're involved in sports and drama and band and all kinds of things, and we encourage that. We want well-rounded kids.
And what are your plans for next year? What do you plan to do next year?
Next year I want to attend UT Davis and major in animal science, become a vet. I'm really interested in how to take care of an animal and how to make sure that that animal is kept at a well state, you know, it's not sick, all these little things that are required in a big industry.
And there is needs for large animal vets. You want to be a large animal?
Yes.
Okay, so there are needs for large animal. There is a lot of small animal vets, but every time I talk to our local vet, it is, and being a veterinarian is definitely a lifestyle. You know, it's definitely one of those being like doctor, you know.
Yeah, 24/7 sometimes.
Yes.
Well, that's good. I mean, a lot of what you've learned and you've been in FFA all through your high school experience, a lot of that you think you're going to carry on, obviously being a vet. We've had 2 students in your group that want to be vets, but I find it interesting there's such a broad diversity of all the different programs that you have within this one little high school, little rural high school. You have all these different programs, and I think that's pretty exciting.
Yes, and the rural high schools tend to be ones that do incorporate that a lot more, but we are seeing it more and more in some of the bigger cities.
That's great. Do you have anything else you want to add before we finish out the show today?
Yes. I just want, for all those that are watching, that FFA, with my advisors, they're not just telling me, okay, you need to focus on FFA and that's it. They tell me that I need to work hard, take AP classes, and like now we're having pathways that are making it easier for these kids to start college early, and they are always encouraging you to do the best of your abilities and make sure you're the top of the line.
That's great. That's great. Well, congratulations, and I thank you both for joining us, and all the students at Sanger Unified. I thank you very much for joining us. We're going to continue the conversation with education tomorrow, but this way we're going a different direction. We're going to talk about Common Core and how a local district is administering Common Core very different than you may think of. They're finding out what's right, what's wrong, and what can be improved. So I thank you for joining us with Tal Cloud on Connect With Me. John Malice will be back on Thursday. Have a great day, and thank you very much.